Finally. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. There was a bit of a breaker mishap, apparently. Which thankfully didn't actually shut the computer off, but did kill the router. Anyway, internet's back online. For some reason, the overlay chat picked up your message, Colo, but my chat did not, so. Let's see. Yeah. Whatever you posted, I'm too lazy to go look at it right now. Okay, arm number 5. We want to grab, and we want to swing that way, I believe, for now. Okay. And then one there. And one there. And then this. Would go there. All right. That might work. I don't think it's going to, though, because I think it's going to hit... Yeah, it's going to hit an extra... Okay. What we could do instead... is have it rotate that way once. No, that just kills even more of them. Well, that's not great. Started a new layer, and in the loading screen got sent tumbling down, landing on a landmine. Well, that sounds exciting. The other way? Maybe. I don't know if I'll be able to without... Okay, that might work actually. Let's see how that ends up. Okay. That'll work. Now, we just reset the arm and everything should work. Yeah, that's going to be a nice fast one. We're not even using all of the reagents we had available. Obviously, there is a faster way to do it yet on top of that, but I'm pretty happy with this one. I wonder... Could I remove that period override? I don't think so, because I think the period override was needed... Yeah. It was needed to make, give these arms time to grab and get out of the way. Unless... No, that won't work either. Yeah, I think is the best I can do with this exact design anyway. Now, it's probably possible to do a faster one using the third reagent, but... yeah, anyway. Okay. Life sensing potion. With saves, casualties unknown is fun. So see, I don't think I could agree with you on that. I don't think anything could make that game fun from what I've seen of it. Okay, the glyph of something unpronounceable transmutes 2 atoms of neutral salt into 1 atom of vitae and 1 atom of mors. Okay. Okay. So we want salts and then non-salts. Okay. So we have 3 random ass reagents. It really doesn't matter what these are because we're going to be turning them all into salt. So, first things first, I think the way we're going to handle these is I'm just going to grab 2 random reagents. And we're going to do this. Except, while this is nice looking, it isn't quite going to give me what I want, which is that these will be on both on the same side and I can grab and do things with them. So I think what I actually want is something more like this. No. Which I wonder, can these be bonded? Let's do a test. Because we might be able to do something here that's very silly. And if this works, I'm going to be extremely impressed. Oh. It's easy to fix. Gonna make a fire chain where we can convert them. And no, they cannot be bonded. Alright. Okay, that's a little bit annoying, but we can deal with this then. We can still do something similar, just with more and longer arms. Okay. So every 3 cycles, we get I wish this was shaped just a little tiny bit differently. Anyway, every 3 cycles we get 1 light, 1 dark. Now, I want to be able to grab both of those and move them away. Okay, actually, if we form semicircles with these, let me think. We should be able to do this. At this point, we grab, we rotate, we release, we repeat. Except I don't want to use a repeat. We grab, we rotate, we don't release. Okay, we gotta put a period extension on this for now. Okay. Now we weld. Okay. Then we can do the same thing here, except not really, thanks to bullshit in the way. Unless we extend these arms a little bit. Okay, And then 5 is exactly the same sequence, just rotating the opposite direction. Let's extend this period even longer for now. Just for testing purposes. And instead of using a bonder, I used a debonder because they look very similar. And I don't think this is actually going to work. No, we need to do it the other way around. For this one needs to be done in reverse. So we do need to rotate in the same direction. Okay. And then we would grab these off with arms and rotate them into position and weld them together. And I can't help but think that this is probably way overcomplicated. We can do this much more easily. Yeah, I think we can do this much more easily. Without the rotary assemblers. I'm thinking what I want to do, actually, is I do want to use a rotary assembler. Set up like that. Except I can't do that because then I can't weld them together. But man, that'd be cool if I could. There really is no convenient way to grab it and rotate it around a center, which is what I really kind of need to do to make this work easily. Yeah, let's put those rotary assemblers back. The problem is I can't think of a way to get these off of these wheels and into position without it being really ugly, basically. Like, I can't produce them facing the right direction inherently. So I'll have to pull them off, I'll have to rotate them, and then I'll have to slide them together. I guess let's just go ahead and do it. First of all, okay. Arms 4 and 5. I need you to let go here. Then arm 6. Gonna need arm 6. Okay, actually, which piece is it gonna be grabbing? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I think that'll do what I want. Boom. Okay. Now, arm 7. It's gonna have to be on a track. It is going to want to grab and then pivot. Actually, I don't think it might not need to be on a track. I need to pivot and swing and pivot and swing and pivot. And then swing at least once more. Okay. That's the exact shape we need. We just need to weld it. And obviously it's not perfect yet. We still need to transform all the non-light and dark into salts. Also, yeah, I want to do some rotating to make sure it's well clear before I sit and pivot. Okay, boom, it's welded. Now, arm 6. You, as soon as you've gotten your piece into place, let go of it. Actually, once you've gotten your piece into place, reset. Then arm 7. you, once you've reached your location, you turn around and head back. Okay, so this is the shape we've got sitting right here. And this will end up like here. No. Okay, well that's good enough for me to know where to place things. Okay. Then swing back to there and reset. All right, we need to lengthen the period on that a little bit. How did it work flawlessly up till there? Let's give it one more period length and let's see if that fixes it. Okay, this isn't going to run flawlessly forever. Either it needs a little bit more period length on it. Basically, if it starts feeding again, yeah, okay. Wait. Why are we feeding 3 times every... No, don't do that. Oops. Oh, I see what the problem is. The first time we need to feed 3 times. Every subsequent time we only need to feed twice. How the hell do I solve that problem? I don't think I can with this style of feeding. But if I feed 3 times every time, no matter what the timings are, it's going to fall apart and stop. So we can't do that. So this whole slide track method of feeding the salts in is not going to work. Like, just straight up, no way, no how, it's not going to work. Um, let me think. We can't do a rotating 6-length arm either, or a 6 arm either, because the 6 arm we would need once again a priming period that we can't have unless we were able to make the priming period. No, we can't do that because then we would end up with garbage that we have to discard. No. Because basically we would end up putting elemental earth and elemental air into the assembly wheels, and that would create problems. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do this the really dumb way. So grab, swing, swing, reset. And then arm 2 is going to grab, retract, reset. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. Okay, that works. And it's not even particularly slow. Okay. If I could shorten arm 1 or arm 6, we would be able to do significantly better. And I think I know how I could shorten arm 1. If I make arm 1 a double arm, and then instead of resetting, we do manual reset. So grab, rotate, rotate, release, rotate, repeat. That should get us 1 cycle faster. And then arm 6 is now the slow one. Yeah, that's 1 cycle per product faster. Okay, so the shape comes off arm 4 already facing the right direction. We don't actually need to rotate and swing it like that if we could just move it into position. The thing is, I'm not sure. Let's move that whole assembly over there for now. Let's try this with a track. I think the track's gonna end up being slower though. That's a long ways to slide along a track. Let's try. And then we swing this. We swing this. Which way? That way. And I'm pretty sure this can be slower already. Yeah, that's significantly slower already. Okay. You can probably do better, a lot better than what I did. I'm not sure I can do better than what I did. Not without completely reworking the design anyway. Yeah. All right, very dark thread. All right, this should be an interesting one. Looks like iron bonded to a central spine of salts. So okay. What we want to do Okay, let's go ahead and start programming this to produce the iron first. So, grab, rotate, release, repeat, arm 2, grab, rotate, and we just hold. Okay, there's our first iron. So this sequence gives us an iron. And then, I think I want this to be a double-ended arm. So we grab, rotate. Maybe I even want it to be a triple arm. Let me wait until here. Okay, that's the tightest timing we can do for that. Now, I think I actually do want to release there. And then we use the repeat instruction here. Which means we should end up with an iron right here on this tile. Let's confirm. Yeah, okay, so we release an iron right there. Now, the next bit we need to do we need to grab a salt. This is going to be really, really annoying to do. How am I going to do this? Because at first this looks pretty easy. But then you realize it's not really we only have one source of irons and we need them on both sides of the salt piece. And we can't just make a core piece that we then bond repeatedly. I guess we could make this shape. Salt, iron, and then bond them like that repeatedly. To do that, I guess first thing we would want to do is make the single salt iron shape. And then we can rotate that into whichever way we want to bond it onto the remaining chain. Okay, arm 3. Grab, rotate, rotate, and then rotate there. Okay, we've got a bit of a problem here. Namely, this has to go there after the second iron has been delivered. Because we have a priming step here, and unfortunately I really, 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 really wish there was a way to tell the machine you have to do a priming step. But there isn't. Which means that I probably should replace this arm with a triple arm as well, so that it has the same kind of priming step. And furthermore, I should probably shift it so that its priming step is exactly as long as the other one. Okay. That looks good, actually. Mostly. Rotate. Okay, grab. Rotate. Rotate. Yeah, we're going to use the exact same sequence of actions as arm 2. Okay, what? No. Okay, I see what the problem was. Yeah. Okay. So we end up with an iron salt piece right here. Now, we can either grab that out of there and move it into place. Whatever place ends up looking like. I think we're going to have to use a track. Okay. So the problem here we're going to need to add more repeat instructions. No, we won't. Maybe not. Maybe we will. I think actually this might need to go earlier in the sequence than the rest of them. Okay. Yeah. Each sequence generates 1 iron. So we need to then repeat that again. at least once. Like this. Okay. Hello, wormholer. Welcome here. So yeah, at the beginning of the sequence, I think I want this to be right there, actually. No. Let's put it there. Okay. It needs to run twice. So it needs to run the first time here. And then needs to run the second time there. And each time, it should notionally, the first time's a dry run. The second time, forward, it grabs, okay. Now, we need to figure out how we're going to take these pieces that are appearing down here and somehow assemble this into this bit of insanity. So, I kind of wish you could build while in the middle of the sequence. I guess I could turn on ghost atoms. All right. Not sure where I want to start the sequence from. Because this is going to be really annoying because it's going to, like, I can't just have it repeat this sequence by itself. I'm going to need to... Okay. Let's grab one of these. Now. Actually, would it maybe make more sense to have it work downward? No, because I remember I gotta... Okay. I gotta weld this thing onto the chain. Too. Which means I need to rotate it to the facing the right direction. I need to move it over the right welder. We're almost certainly going to need a multi-binding glyph. Except that's not going to work because it's going to do extra bonds that I don't want. Probably. Well, I guess as long as I'm careful and don't pull them over the close one. Yeah, and then we're probably going to need to have that so we can shift up and down. Okay, the fourth arm moves twice. So that's all we need for that. So we're going to have to put a bigger gap between these, almost certainly. And actually, the fourth arm there's got to be something I'm missing to make this way simpler. I think I need to make this fundamental shape right here. That kind of hooked line. So if I take this piece, shift it down, and pull it in. Okay, so the first sequence of events, I need to have this one closer. Because we don't actually start with this shape. I mean, we do, but we don't actually start. The first piece we move doesn't actually exist. It's going to be a dummy fake one that hasn't reached there yet. We'll be going through the motions because of the setup time, the priming time, basically. So we do one run through the motions without actually picking up anything, and then from there on we're grabbing and moving. So do I want to do it? Okay. Let's reverse this. Okay, so we grab this piece and we move it. Actually, is this going to collide? No, because that moves over before it drops down. Okay. Yeah. So arm 5 moves. Arm 5 grabs at that point. And then moves down. And extends. And releases. And then we have a notional salt, a notional iron. Okay, but that would cause a collision because it's not far enough out of the way. So we extend twice. And then we have a notional salt, notional iron. And the next piece we want to do is we want to weld an iron salt combo here. Although we're not actually welding anything because that doesn't exist right then. Okay. So after this, we want to retract once. Twice. Okay. We want to retract once. Then we'll be over top of that iron. Then we want to grab there, I believe. And we want to rotate twice. So we'll be grabbing this right here. And we want to rotate it once there. And then we want to move it plus. Okay. Now, from there, we need to move it forward twice. So after we welded it in place, we need to move forward once and extend once. And then we need to reset. Okay, is this going to work? No, because they collide. We need to extend the period slightly. No, that's not going to work at all, actually. Period extension has nothing to do with it. Arm number 4. I think this will work. The timings don't match up anymore. Fun. Okay. It hasn't managed to get out of the way yet. Which means we need to remove this reset instruction. We need to put in a minus. And then we need to put in the armory tracks. I believe it's 2 of them. Okay. We can't use the repeat instruction here. Actually, let's remove those and let's see what happens. No, it's gonna hit. Okay. Wait. Okay, it was right at the end. So grab, plus, swing, reset. Because I don't think we actually need to move because of the arm's not quite in their same position for the second one. Yep. Okay, we got it working. All right. Does that one that way? This is actually insane. It's actually not that complicated once you get it all worked out, but like, this is definitely a sequence of actions that exists. Okay. I'm not going to try to optimize that any. I am perfectly okay with where its current state is. Okay. The lead ore heist. All right. Chapter 4, An Uncommon Ally. Basically, it's a message to somebody saying that our character is quite capable and trustworthy. Okay. Litharge separation? Whatever. So this is raw lead ore. Okay. So I'm guessing we're going to be, yes. We're going to be breaking down the lead ore and ejecting the individual atoms. This is going to be an interesting one to break up for sure. So I think step 1 is going to be to break all the outer bonds. And the way we'll do that is by grabbing it here. And I guess we'll have to swing it twice to there. And then we spin it over top of that. Okay, let's just get started. I don't really care about speed at the moment. I just want this to work first. Okay, and the problem is not everything is actually going to be bonded. So we're going to have to pick out the salts as we go. So we'll want like a triple arm. Probably a triple arm. Okay. Let's grab. We'll rotate twice. And then we'll start spinning it in place. Okay, yeah, those collide. Oh, that's fine. We can do like this then. Boom. Then rotate it. Boom. Now, arm number 2, I'm going to want that to rotate every single time this one rotates. And then grab rotate, release, rotate, grab, rotate, release, and so on. Except I need to use the other rotation direction. Oops. Okay. That neatly splits out the salts. And then arm 1 rotates down again, which will put it over here. And then we need to split off the lead. Which is going to eventually go to there. And I think if I put an arm right here, no. We're going to need to use a track to get them over there. Or a piston arm. Piston arm's probably easier. Okay, so you all right. So immediately after we reach our destination, we do that. And you need to be a bond breaker. Okay. Then you grab it. Right there, immediately after it rotates. And then you retract and swing up and reset. Okay, and to keep it from doing weird things, we'll just put a period extender on it. That's temporary, we'll remove it later. Okay, we can't actually rotate. Well, actually, maybe we can if we spin that there. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. And then you repeat and repeat. Okay. And then arm 1. We'll rotate up one more time and release. Okay, these last two rotates are obviously not required. And then I'll rotate up one last time and that should reset it. Man, the period on this thing is going to be really long. Okay, we rotate one too far. Wait, how is that possible? No, I don't think I think we rotated one too few. Yeah. Okay, that should do it. Okay, the final disassembly step here we can do way better. I've just thought of how. Basically, we where should I put this? Here? No, we put it there. Okay, in arm 3, we grab, we rotate, we reset, and then we repeat, and we repeat. Okay, that can't go there though. Okay. And then instead of swinging away, we drop and then swing away. And then it's this arm's job to reach there, which it can't actually do. So we need to replace this with a standard arm, and we need to give it a track. And I want the track to run the other way. Okay. And then once done with this, then it goes that way. It grabs. It pulls back. It swings. And it resets. Okay. Now we could make this faster. Very easily, actually. By replacing this, I think, with a tri-arm. No. If we replaced it with a duo arm, and then moved this assembly over to here somewhere. We would have to figure out a way to get those leads out of the way fast enough. So we'd likely need to use some kind of similar to this tri-arm system, which we could do. Okay. Let's set this up like so. Then arm 3. We need to change all the rotation instructions for the opposite direction, which is not inherently difficult. Okay. Now, arm 1's instructions need to be modified a lot. So we start, we grab, we rotate twice. We do the splitting. And then we rotate three times. No. We rotate once. We let go. We grab. Then we rotate twice. Okay, now we have a little problem. We're trying to rotate over top of this one, that's in the way. So, I think what we need to do is make this arm longer. And then you go out farther. And you go out farther. Well, we're not winning any prizes for a small area with this monstrosity. Okay. So once it swings into position here, then we need to do the whole rotation sequence again. So it needs to be identical. So actually remove this bit, and that should do it. Okay, arm 3. You don't return. You just grab, rotate, release. And that might not be fast enough, so you might have to slow everything down a little bit. And I might need to use the... this has got to be modified a little. How about that? No. Like that. And I think we needed to have longer arms because it was conflicting somehow. But let me... I'm pretty sure that we need to do the exact same sequence. As what we do on the other side. Because we're doing literally exactly the same thing. Okay. For now, let's remove those. We'll need to add them back in later. Okay. Why is... Okay, that should do it. No, it doesn't do it. Okay, we got to release, then we got to grab, and then we got to move. Okay, now, arm 3. You need to do a special sequence here. Where instead of releasing, you got to grab, and then you got to move. Except it won't be in position to grab. So at the end of this sequence, we got to have a little wait period. Where we can move down, grab, move back. Oh, of course the sequence here is reversed. Is that out of sequence now? Yeah, it is somehow. How is it out of sequence? Let's run through it more slowly. Okay. We're missing a piece. Except, no, we weren't missing a piece. What is going on here? I think that somehow this got out of phase. It was working before. Okay. Let's watch it. Okay, grab, rotate, grab, rotate. This part's working fine. It's in phase. Okay. So this part is not working fine. What we need to do is we need to move it in. We need to swing it in to a position. We need to grab. We need to move it back out. That's still not correct, I'm sure. Well, actually, that looks about right. Okay. So we're missing an important step for arm 1. I think there's a grab order it doesn't have. Wait. I see what the problem here is. Okay. Right there. We need a release here at the end. Because it's not picking up another piece on its way around. Yep. Okay, now it's working. All right, that was really cool. We did not score very well on area. Cycles and cost were kind of average. So really we didn't get a very good score at all. But also this machine's just pretty cool. Yeah, it turns out the double and triple arms are really good when you need the arm to be syncing up with a different arm in a very specific way. You need to mesh together like gears, basically. Okay. Extracting the essence of lead from ore. There's something no alchemists had to do for centuries. Alright, stain remover. I don't suppose you'd have something that will get out of stain. Okay. Glyph of purification. Transmutes 2 atoms of the same metal into a single atom of the next higher metal. Unlike Glyph of projection, it does not require quicksilver. Okay, this is an exciting looking little setup. Okay. This shouldn't actually be too bad, I don't think. As far as the basics. Alright, which metal is that? It's just tin, which is 2 lead. Okay, that's easy enough to do then. Okay, arm 1, grab. Rotate, reset. Arm 2. Do the same thing, but 1 tick later. But 2 ticks later. Okay. So that gets to 10. Easily enough. Now we're going to do some rather complex bonding with that tin. Specifically, we need to bond a bunch of stuff to it. Okay, so I've got an idea here. Not sure if it was a good idea or not, mind you. But we're basically going to be crapping out a ton of bonded pairs. And then we grab these pairs and flip them every other one. I think that's a good idea. And then we bond those flipped pairs together. Okay, let me think. So this could be an unnecessary bond. However, I think it's going to be a worthwhile unnecessary bond. Okay, so 3 and 4 run in lockstep. They grab, they move forward, they reset. And then they repeat. Now, arm 5, it grabs, moves forward, and then flips its piece. No. Arm 6 does that. And arm 6 gets renamed arm 5. And it uses, oops. It uses the other flip direction. And then it resets. Okay, arm 6 grabs, moves forward, and resets. And I think I'm moving arm 6 a little too fast. Also, you need to rotate one more time. Yeah. Actually, we don't need to do those flips. They're wrong. Instead, we need to move like that. Okay, so that gets us that gets us one of the bars that goes across above the metal. Now, let's put a period increase on there so we don't have to worry about this quite so much. Next up, we need to grab this piece. And it needs to go forward to get out of the way, and then down 2. Okay, arm 7. You grab and move forward 4. And then release. Move forward 5 and then release. Okay, more than that. Although actually, upon second thought, I want to grab more toward the middle, I think. And I want a longer arm so it's more out of the way. Now. This is going to be somewhat annoying. Because we need to do some interesting bonding. Arm number 8. I want you to grab swing up, release. Just kind of wherever over there. Okay, it's clearly got to be over farther. Because the metal actually has to be available. And unfortunately, we need to time it perfectly. Upon second thought. So there. No. One more. No. One more. Okay. That gets us our double bond, except they're facing the wrong... No, they're facing the correct way. Alright. Yeah, that's correct. Now, we need to take this piece and we need to put it somewhere. so that we can bond the bottom bar onto it. I think if we replace this with a piston, and then we retract it twice. And then reset. Except we don't reset. We go back. How are we going to do this? I know how we're going to do this. It's just insane enough to be worth doing. This is a terrible way to solve this puzzle, I'm sure, but I'm kind of growing attached to this stupid machine to the point where I don't want to tear it apart and start over with something more sensible. Okay, we don't put a reset on that yet. Instead, after it's at the end of the track and is pulled up out of the way, we need to duplicate the steps of 3 through 6. Yeah. Okay, let's see how badly this functions. Or not, as the case may be. Okay, it actually functions great. Now, 9. You, at some random ass point during this sequence, when arm 6 is done with its thing, you advance, grab, advance. Okay, we can actually do that a little earlier. That might be too early, but we'll find out here in a second. Nope, that's exactly right. Alright. And you keep advancing a couple more times. Now, more welding needs to happen. I think I want to run this on a separate track. No, I can't. Okay, actually, arm 9 you need to go there. And instead of advancing and grabbing, you need to grab then advance. Yeah. That way we have different grab points on these things, and then we can shuffle them back and forth. Okay, now we need to do a welder like this, but over here. And facing the other way. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now. Good night, one roller. I think the contraption's almost done. I still need to do the last bit of bonding, and then we have to just break the extra bonds, and it's done. Oh wait, this needs to be flipped end for end, doesn't it? No, the top bar needs to be flipped end for end. Okay. I can do that. And if I'm going to flip it end for end, then I want to grab it over there first. Make sure it's not going to hit anything when we do this. Okay, we need to flip it the other way. Oh, of course. Damn it. Okay, this needs to be moved out of the way for now. And then I think we need to do that. Yeah, that works. Okay. And then at the right instant, there, I believe. No, there. Probably. Okay. Now we're in the right spot. And then, of course, the sequencing for 9 is all off, I think. Yeah. Because 9 needs to move forward first before it can grab. Okay. Now, 7, you need to reverse a few times. Okay, one more time. Actually, I think it needs to be 2 more times, but it can't because well, it can. Because when 9 stops moving, I'm gonna swap 9 and 8, by the way. Okay, there we go. When 9 stops moving, it needs to release, it needs to move back, it needs to re-grab, and then move back forward. Or not move back forward yet. Just hold. And that should get it out of the way of arm 7. Boom. Okay, no, that's not gonna work. I think we have to change the bonding order. Okay. Arm 8 needs to move forward. So that it bonds to the proper location. And then arm 8 needs to just let go and get out of the way. It's completed its job. Okay. We have the horrible shape finished. Now, we just have to move down the track a couple stages. And then we flip it. Okay. Now, we need to fix the ends. And we need to debond the middles. Let's make sure it doesn't do anything extra. Boom. Okay, we've got our beautiful shape. Now, we can't just move it off the end because that'll destroy it. We should be able to rotate it back down though. This is such an insanely overcomplicated machine. Okay. And then we move it out to the end of the track. And reset. And we get rid of that period extender because it's not been doing anything for a while anyway. This thing is actually insane. And I kind of love it. There's no way this gets a good score. Actually, it's not as bad as it could have been. Okay, it's not very good. At all. But like, this is without a doubt the most complicated thing I've made in this game. If I reduce some of the stuff that ARM 7 was doing, particularly if I gave it like a separate arm, if I produced a separate arm to do the end cycle, I could cut the period by a surprising amount and make it way faster. Let's do that actually. Okay. Now. ARM 10 will... Well, first of all, let's figure out where we want to do the handoff. Probably right there. No. Right there. So from this point forward, on ARM 7, is removed. And then on ARM 10, we grab right there. We rotate once. We rotate twice. And let's see how this ends up. Okay, arm 7 has one too many returns. I believe that's correct. That is not correct. Let's try that. Okay, we can't even swing it once from that position. So this needs to be either a longer arm. Let's try that. And if that doesn't work, then we'll have to use a piston arm. We might have to use a piston arm. Let's let the arm 7 get out of the way. It's not like we don't have plenty of time to wait. We can just sit around and do nothing for a while and still come out faster. Okay, actually... that should work. We'll grab it more toward the center. Why is it grabbing it? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong arm. Okay. I think we need to move forward one more for that to work. Yeah. Move forward one more, and then rotate. once. I think it'll be good. Yeah. Rotate once, pull back once. Or vice versa. Okay. That will be correct. Actually, we need to put a reset instruction on there. Okay, now we can run it. And this should be measurably faster, I think. Because ARM 7 is the limiting factor on our speed. And so, since we cut a bunch of duties off of ARM 7, it won't be immensely faster, because really we just cut off okay. We went from 221 cycles to 160 cycles, so that's actually quite a bit faster than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Well, it is 10:30. So, I think that we're going to call it here. We got Chapter 3 and part of Chapter 4 done. Despite taking significant chunks of time to just further away on making random puzzles slightly worse. Probably better, technically. But anyway. Yeah. I quite enjoyed this game. I mean, technically you're supposed to be trying to make faster, cheaper, smaller machines. But sometimes it's more fun to make sillier machines. Like that last one. We did make it faster, but only because there was a low-hanging fruit to go for making it faster. One arm that was just doing way too much and could be split up without too much work. Yeah. Anyway. Tomorrow is Thursday already. So I believe that means Zoo Tycoon 1. We will continue our journey to seeing if we can unlock the secret animals. We have some fairly complicated scenarios coming up. Long ones, mostly. But anyway. So that'll be tomorrow. Friday, I think will be some EDF. Saturday and Sunday, we'll play some Timberborn. Monday, of course, will be Crab Champions. And then next Tuesday and Wednesday are probably going to be more Opus Magnum. I did buy some new games today. Specifically Star Miner has entered early access, so I want to try that at some point. And Homeworld Deserts of Caracas on massive sale. So I grabbed that for a couple bucks. And what was the other one I grabbed? Um, Phantom Brigade, which I remember people playing when it first came out. And then I never heard anything about it after that. That was that kind of weird try and time travel, real time with pause, mech turn based thing. So I want to try that sometime too. We're well past the point where it's new, but like, who cares? It's new to me. So once I finish Opus Magnum, we'll probably do one of those for midweek games. We only have a couple chapters left of Opus Magnum. And then I think we'll probably do at least some of the DLC. So we probably have a couple weeks of that left, and then probably Star Miner next. It's a bit premature to decide that right now, though. After all, we do have at least a few more weeks of Opus Magnum. Let's see. Is anyone doing anything on the old follow list? Abby's playing Mech Warrior. Okay. Sure, why not? Let's raid Abby. Hopefully, I see you all back here tomorrow for some Zoo Tycoon shenaniganry. And I will see you all later. Good night and goodbye.